So my name is Kristen Summers. I work at Microsoft and I am CTO of an operating unit within Microsoft Federal. We work with a set of clients in the US government and also partners who work with the US government. So I have been interested in technology and specifically in computers uh, since I was in high school, I would say. I've been drawn to computer science and programming because I view it as really applied logic. Logic was always one of my favorite things, and it's the ability to take that very well-defined conceptual structure and make things happen, and often make surprising things happen. I was always drawn to areas like artificial intelligence, where there really are elements of both of those kind of parts of the brain. There's elements of the pure logic and making things happen on a machine, and there are elements of really the much more human side of things. And for instance, doing language processing, you need to think about how people express themselves in language, not just what would be simple and direct and convenient for the computer and those kinds of things. Quickly, but I also wanted to be doing things that had very direct tangible effects in the world. And so I really have consistently gravitated towards what I would consider to be more applied research, things where there's some open question about how to do it and how to make the things work, but there's also a direct need and a direct way you're going to use it if it does work out. And then I came to my current job at Microsoft, where I'm focused again. Obviously, Microsoft is very heavily in the AI space, and I'm focused on that. And I'm also focused on a customer set that tends to have very unique and kind of chewy problems to look at how to solve with them. See it as applied logic. You take these very basic building blocks of like, there is a logical flow. You are giving these very explicit, specific, structured instructions to the machine, and you can make it do things that are really intricate and even surprising. It's much more than you would think. I also love it because it does enable us to make possible things that that people couldn't do before, to sort of solve these harder problems. It's a field that changes very rapidly, which means that you're always learning, right? There are some basic building blocks and tenets that are the same. I sometimes feel like people almost overemphasize how fast the field changes, and it might scare people off from entering it, like, well, I'll never know the things I need to know. And that's not the case. Once you have a lot of the sort of basic concepts and building blocks in place, all the things that change typically fit into that in a way that makes sense and makes it pretty easy to catch up on them. It's not like you're always in the position of taking your first course. If you're interested in it, you should try it and do it. There's no reason to sort of be cautious because of historically who's typically been in the field or anything like that. I also think it's important to recognize that there are a lot of parts to this field. If you're interested in technology and one part of it, you try something and it doesn't seem quite right, but also if you try some part of it and it's not exactly right for you, there are so many ways to be in this field and so many ways to marry it with other things that you might be passionate about. You might want to do absolute core, basic, the pure technology. You might be down there at the chip level. And then, or you might be all about building applications to do some particular thing that you love to do, or some particular thing that relates to an interest of yours. So I would just say, like, if this is interesting to you or potentially interesting to you, give all the parts of it a chance. Don't stop at one of them, and don't believe what somebody else tells you about what it's like. Just try it and see.